Hello and welcome back to Oh Savoury. I'm Oliver and now you haven't been in the bird room for over a week. So today we're going to be having a catch up with all of the native birds and the canaries. We've got some of the young birds now weaned, which are the first young birds to be weaned of the year. We've got excitement and heartache with the redpolls, which we'll come to a little later on in the show. We've got new arrivals with some more natives and some even more exciting news with some of the harder to breed natives. So I'm really looking forward to showing you everything in today's show, and I hope you enjoy. So to begin today, I had a question regarding something we spoke about in last week's video, and that was about weaning young birds. Now, I know Shane has covered this, and I believe Matt has as well on the canary room and the bird room, but it's just something I thought I'd come to my viewers to tell them as well. So when you wean a young bird, it's important that the young bird is feeding itself. Obviously, they rely on their parents from hatching until about day 24, and that's not to say remove them at day 24, but I've found that has been the most common thing. So with my yellow dimorphics, we saw last week that I had them in an external bath, and we were separating them for about an hour a day from the parents, just to give the parents a bit of a break and try and see if they're eating. Well, now they are eating, and we'll look at them soon, and because they're fully weaned now. But the point being is that you don't want to move any young birds away from the parents until that you're confident that they are independent and they are eating by themselves, because it will be the matter of life and death between young birds. If you remove it too early, you're going to lose it because it isn't being fed and it doesn't know how to feed itself. So that's just something to mention and keep in mind, is that when you do separate out your young birds, you do make sure that they are eating, they are independent, and that you aren't risking their life. Because if you feel like they are and you're a bit unsure, leave them a few more days. It's better to have those guys and make sure that they're happy and healthy and they're independent enough to go, rather than that. So you might think, well, I've got so and so, I've got 4 canary, maybe 4 baby canaries, the mum's back on eggs, the chicks are disturbing the mum back on the eggs. Well, it's better to get those 4 youngsters on the perch and be confident that they're all right, and you can let the mum go another round if she's disturbed them too much, and obviously the eggs have been bashed about or something like that. Make sure that when you do remove the young birds to be weaned, they are independent. And on that, we're now going to visit the canaries to begin with. So we've got the new colour pair, we've got a few feeder pairs to look at as well, and we'll look at how the youngsters are coming along. So in last week's episode, you saw the young Fife canaries, which we've got as a feeder pair here. Their youngsters fledged the nest. You've got the eldest youngster just sat there at the back, and we've got the other 2 youngsters there. We've got the little variegated one, and we've got the little cinnamon as well. Well, they have fully fledged the nest now. They aren't going back. We've actually cleared out the nest pan, and the parents have begun rebuilding, but not where you expected. They have rather rebuilt and laid 3 eggs on the floor. Now, not ideal. They've built them in the corner, obviously on the floor. Not great, but it's something that they chose to do. I was going to remove the eggs and leave them, but they keep reconstructing the nest every day to make sure they're happy with it, and she's continuing to lay. So I'm just going to leave them to it with those, because we might need the feeders relatively soon, and we're going to need them to do their job. So anyway, there you are. You've got the parents there. You've got mum just jumped now, and you've got the dad on the left, and you've got the 3 chicks. So I think by next week, hopefully, you're going to see those youngsters separated as well. So before we go out to the youngsters of these guys who are actually in the other bird room, just thought I'd give you a quick update. You can see mum's on the nest, got dad down there. We've got 3 of her eggs, 2 were clear, and actually we've got her with 2 Siberian goldfinch eggs. So a little later on, I'm going to give those a candle, and let's hope, fingers crossed, those eggs are full. So these are the 2 young yellow dimorphics. We've just weaned them in the past week. We began by separating them from their parents about an hour each day, just to see how they get on, and they've got on really well. They've been eating themselves, and then about 3 or 4 days ago, I decided, yep, that's long enough now. I've seen them eating no problem by themselves. They're eating soft food at the moment, so they are on the egg food mix, but they are taking a little bit of hard seed, which is just a basic European finch mix, and they are taking the basic dry egg food as well. So that's great. We've got 2 young yellow dimorphic chicks, which are fully weaned now, so that's a really good start to the season, which is nice, and I think these are going to develop into some nice little birds. So from last week's episode, we saw the Norwich were beginning to rebuild. Now, she just completely ignored the nest for about 3 days straight in this pair. We've got the buff-tigged hen here, the yellow variegated cock. Well, what I decided to do is put the nest to the side. I closed this door, which is actually just helping to hold it on, and left the Norwich to it. I thought we'll give them a few days break. So what I've done is 5 days on, just put the nest back, and she's actually began to just start to rebuild in there. Obviously no egg, and I don't expect an egg just yet. Hopefully in the next few days. We're going to come to this pair in the mule and hybrid update, which is later on in the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We've obviously got the pair of new colours, so we'll come to them very soon, which is the yellow satinettes, and then we also have this pair of feeders who have begun their feeding duties. So the first natives we're going to look at today are the Greenfinches. If you remember, last week we welcomed the arrival of 5 pied Greenfinch chicks. Well, now a week on, we've got them rung. I've just rung the last one today, which we'll look at soon, and we'll take a look at them. We also have some more new arrivals in with the Greenfinches. We have the best pair of normals outside. They have got 4 chicks, and we've got, I think there's an egg left in there, and I've also removed one of the eggs because it was actually on the edge of the nest. I don't know if it's gone too cold or what, but I've actually stuck it under a pair of feeders, which we'll take a look at very shortly. So we're going to make a start with the young pied Greenfinches. So a week on, they have grown immensely. They have grown so well. I am very pleased. So as you can see, there we are, we've got all 5 now. They are quite dark for pieds. Obviously their father being pied, their mother being a normal, they do have chance of being pied and do have chances of being normals as well, complete normals. But what I have noticed is the variegation in them. So if you can see, we've got some yellow feathers on the wings there. So this is a pied chick. We've got yellow feathers here, so that's another 2. And I believe in this nest of 5, there are 4 pieds and 1 normal. So they are dark pieds. We'll have to see how they turn out when they fully get the feathers through. But for the moment, I think we've got 4 pieds and 1 normal. So that's great. Now, the smallest chick, I believe, is this one. I just rang it earlier today. As you can see, got a little earring on that, so be very gentle with that chick, and there you are. So that's great. I'm really pleased to see them getting on so well. The new colours are doing an amazing job. I am so pleased with how well these guys have done so far, and obviously they're rearing on the egg food I made in a video you may have seen early in the week. So if not, the link is above and the link will be in the comments below as well. So these guys are getting on really well. We've got 5 pied Greenfinch chicks. So last week you may recall that I said I found a Greenfinch egg actually on the floor in the other bird room. It's actually from the parents of the pied Greenfinches we've just looked at, the chicks. I wasn't sure if it was full, and I just thought, well, you know what, we've got a feeder who's not doing anything right now, put them under her and let's see how they get on. Well, we've got another chick, so we'll take a look now. So this is our pair of feeders with the young Greenfinch who's just hatched in the past day. So as you can see, got a lovely little bird there. It looks pink skinned as well, and quite a light bird, so I'd suggest that that's another pied. Now, you'll notice we've got a pot egg in there, and we've got another Greenfinch egg in there. The other Greenfinch egg is from the top pair, and it's due today/tomorrow. So hopefully that's going to hatch very soon. This little pied will have a brother who, although not from the same parents, will be his, will be a great companion for him. And obviously that's good because we want the parents as well to be happy rearing. So they're rearing this chick fine. He's a day old now. They haven't had an issue feeding him. I mean, they are first-time parents, so we're going to have to see how they get on. But I think for first-time parents, 2 Greenfinches is not a big ask for them. Just 2 Greenfinches. We're not, we're not giving them the full 5 like the pair of new colours. But there you are. So from an egg that was cast away by the mother onto the floor of the cage, a 3-foot or a 2.5-foot drop from the nest, I found it on the floor and I thought, well, we've got nothing to lose. We've got this lovely little chick from it. So hopefully everything will go well for him and he'll be fine, and we'll catch up with him next week, and hopefully his brother. So we're going to take a visit outside now to the other pair of Greenfinches before we go to the other bird room to look at the pieds. Well, this pair, we've got the cockbird from the Evans and Pontin line, and we've got the hen from the Paul Meek line. So they have got 4 chicks. I am over the moon that we've got 4 chicks from this pair. The cockbird is absolutely amazing. The hen is a lovely bird as well. So we got 6 eggs from those guys. All 6 were full. We've got 4 chicks, and I know confidently that we have 4 chicks because I've seen all 4 heads. I think there's 1 egg left in the bottom, and then actually the other egg, which we just looked at with the pied, that was cast away sort of. I only found it about 3 hours ago, so it should be all right. And it wasn't cold, it was just not as warm as they should be. And I think what had happened is maybe the chicks had shuffled or something. The hen was maybe clearing out other eggshells, and the egg was up against the side of the nest and not actually under the hen. And I thought, well, we can't risk losing it, and we could actually do with a bit of another bird, a youngster, to put in with those feeders as well. So that's why we've moved the egg there. So as you can see now, we've got these lovely little Greenfinch chicks from that pair, and I must say, when I found the first 2, what monsters they are. They are huge, and they are probably double the size almost of the other chicks that we had hatched last week from the pieds, underneath the new colours. And these chicks are huge, and I just think already showing signs of quality there. Obviously their father is a brilliant quality bird. The hen's a good bird as well. So these are some prize chicks. These are some really important and special chicks for me to have. Obviously, yes, they are just Greenfinches, and you can pick up a Greenfinch for a tenner from an auction, but these are not those birds. These are some of the most amazing Greenfinches I've seen, and the best Greenfinches that I've ever had and have got right now. So I am so pleased with them, as you can tell. So thank you, Mark, for that cockbird, and thank you for all the advice, Shane and Mark, with just breeding those guys as well. I am really looking forward to see the development of these guys, and I hope you are as well. So we'll visit those guys next week. Fingers crossed, we'll have them rung and we'll see how they're developing. So hopefully you recall from last week's episode, we had the pair of Greenfinches in here. Their 5 eggs were due, and sadly, due to the cold weather, we actually lost all 5 eggs. Now, we're going to come to the cold weather a little later on when we visit the redpolls, but the weather this year has been, at least for the start of the season, has been terrible. It's really messed the birds up. The birds don't know what time of year it is. It's really throwing them off. So anyway, we've got a bit of good news with these guys. They have rebuilt a nest. It's a little bit scraggy, but it is what it is. If the hen's happy with it, that's what really matters. And as long as the chicks are going to be fine in it, which I'm sure they will be, it's going to be all right. Well, we've got 2 eggs now. We've got the second leg laid this morning. So by next week, I'm hoping we should have some, a full clutch of eggs to at least show you, try and show you from this pair. This is a pied Greenfinch cock split egg to a normal Greenfinch hen, and they're a lovely pair, and I just hope that it works, and all going well, we will have a full clutch from these guys. that's not the same to be said with this pair. Now, these guys are the parents of the 5 or 6 Greenfinch, pied Greenfinch chicks you saw earlier under the new colours. And they've just been messing about with the nest again. And I'm not 100% sure as to why. I just don't think they're happy with that nest site, to be honest. The hen's building, putting material in, making a nest, laying one egg, and then throwing it all out, eggs on the floor, just not happy with it. And that's pretty much every day or every 2 days now. She's not laying full clutches, and it's a mess with these guys, to be honest, with this pair. So what are my options? Well, I feel that the best option for these guys now is to change the nest site. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to do it off camera just because it's easier to film, if you don't mind. I'm going to get one of the, well, I'll tell you what, I'll grab you one now. I'm going to get a wire cage, like wire external pan like this. We're going to pop the plastic off just like that. So what we've got there is sort of a bit of cover. I'm going to surround that with conifer and fake ivy, fake Christmas tree. I'm going to slot that behind the cocoa fibre nest inlay, and then probably going to get a just a screw and a washer, put that through there and screw it onto the backboard. And what that's going to do is give that hen more cover. There's one way into the nest and one way out, so she feels a bit more private, and hopefully that might just make her click. It's simple things like that, especially with breeding natives. There is patience, there's always patience with breeding these types of birds, and breeding birds anyway. But you do have to change things sometimes, because it can cost you a season if not. And that's something that, you know, over the past 2 or 3 seasons I've really picked up with breeding the native birds and breeding a lot of birds in general, is that some birds, if they're not happy, they're not going to breed. You've got to change things if you're going to be successful with it. And sometimes it can be unexpected, it doesn't go to plan, you make a change and it could never be better. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to add that over there, nest sighting. Fingers crossed by next week's video, those Greenfinches will provide us with something to look at. Just like that, that's our Greenfinch nest improvement. Let's hope that's going to work. Like I mentioned at the start of this video then, we've got some good news and we've got some bad news with the redpolls. A bit up and down this week. Now, like I said from last week, we were supposed to have some cinnamon redpolls hatch from the World Show silver hen. Well, they did hatch. They hatched the following day. They hatched on the Saturday morning, and sadly they're not with us anymore. What happened? Well, it's a bit, well, I can't give you a straight answer on that because I don't have a straight answer. The hen was feeding all right. We had 3 chicks hatch on the Saturday. We had the 4th hatch on the Sunday. The 5th was supposed to hatch on the Monday, didn't hatch, which is fair enough, doesn't always happen. And they were getting on fine. The hen was feeding them, no problem. And then for some reason, and I've not touched the chicks at this point, remember, I've not looked, I've left them in the nest. All I've seen is from afar in the nest. And what's happened is, clearly something's quite not right. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just because we've got a young hen. She's a last year's hen. She's an inexperienced bird. What could it be due to? Well, she stopped feeding pretty much. The cockbird was putting a bit of food into them, but it's mainly the job of the hen. She was feeding them, but not enough. And it actually came to yesterday morning, which was Wednesday. I could tell the chicks just, that their growth, rather than accelerating like it does, it sort of stayed level. They'd not really grown, and that was red flags to me. I'm thinking, there's something clearly not right here. We need to fix something quick. So I got some peas, boiled them up, put them in for the hen. Hen took them straight away, started feeding. I thought, excellent, I think we might have cracked it. Maybe she's just a little unsure about the egg food, maybe something like that. and then she stopped feeding again, and I don't know why. So what I did is, this is yesterday evening by the time I noticed she'd stopped feeding again. So I got my hand rearing formula out and thought we can't lose these chicks, and it's an evening as well, so it is going dark, which is not ideal. So I made up some hand rearing formula, pumped some hand rearing formula into the chicks. They looked all right, all 4 of them, no problem. Came in this morning, all 4 were dead in the nest, all cold. And I think partially to blame for this is the weather, as I mentioned earlier. Last night we had, it was -1, -2. I came out on this ice on puddles of water, and for the start of May, that's terrible. There's literally ice out, and I think that's one of the main factors, is that it's just the weather is playing with the birds at the moment. The birds don't know what time of year it is. Some days, like you can see now, it's really sunny. It's like, yay, spring's here. We've had really good days where, especially around the start of mid-April, it's 15 to 20 degrees in the day. Fantastic. And then for the past few days, it's probably reached a height of 4-5 degrees. And it's really unfortunate. Obviously, we've lost these baby redpolls, and I think it's mainly down to the weather. Something, the hen's not happy with that, and then I think just that cold spell in the night that lost them. Now you might ask, why didn't I put them under a feeder? I'd got the feeder lined up who has the baby greenfinch. I thought it's better than not saving them. But with it being in the evening, she'd already gone to sleep. She was actually asleep on the nest earlier, keeping that chick warm. I just thought, I don't want to disturb them here, because if she don't go back to that nest, not only do we lose a baby greenfinch, we also lose 4 cinnamon redpoll chicks. Thought, what I'll do, we'll leave the mother on them tonight, which was yesterday evening. We'll leave them to keep warm, and then we'll move them first thing in the morning, which is this morning on the Thursday. And sadly, the cold beat me to it. So it's annoying. That was the first baby redpolls that we had of the year, and we don't have them anymore. But not to dwell on the sadness, obviously that's the last thing we want, is that bringing us down. We need to work on it. We need to find out what the problem was and how we can fix that. Now, if it's the weather, we're just going to have to grin and bear it, I think. But with the rest of the birds and the rest of the redpolls, we've got some good news. So we're going to start off with, we've got the hen up here from the Jack Lloyd line. So you can see the hen, she's been sat now for a week, which is great. She's doing really well. Now, it does start with some bad news. As you can see, we haven't got the cockbird in here. Now, don't worry, we've still got him. But he seems to like smashing eggs. So, I came in about 3 or 4 days ago, and, well, I even replaced the eggs with pot eggs, and then thought, right, well, he's not even bothered with those pot eggs. The hen's now sat. We're going to leave her to it. Well, I put 3, however many pot eggs under her. We had 4 real eggs and 1 pot egg, because he originally smashed the first one before I could even get to it. And it turned out he smashed 2 of those. So I removed the cockbird and left this hen to it. So that does start with the bad news. But the good news from this pair is that the 2 eggs are both full. So we've got the normal pied cockbird to this lovely normal hen, and both of their eggs are full. So I'm really pleased that we've got that. Obviously, this is a hen that it's really quite important that I do breed off her, because she's a fantastic specimen of a redpoll. So that's some good news with those guys. Obviously, we come down to the cinnamons, and they've just lost their chicks today. They've already started to rag the nest and try to rebuild it. So we'll just have to see how they get on. Hopefully by next week we might have some more eggs from them. In here we have the normal hen with the normal Feo carrier cock. They have began building, which is good. Pretty much they've been thrown about. They've put a bit of dandelions in there, but they've also put some sisal in there, so that's good. A good sign. So we've got some developments from these guys. We'll come up here next. We've got the agate pastel cock to the cinnamon hen. Possible pastel carrier, that hen actually. Her mother was debatable whether she's a pastel or not. She is on 6 eggs. She's been sat about 3 days, so not yet candled them. We've got this pair here. We've got the normal pied cockbird with the cobalt pied hen. She's just once again playing about with material. So we'll have to see how they get on. We've got the cobalt split Isabel cock in here with the cobalt hen. They have built a complete nest. We're yet to get an egg, but I don't think it'll be too long. The hen's just job now is to line that nest. We'll come up here now. As you can see, we've changed the nest site. We've now got an external one, and the reason being is that the hen once again laid 3 eggs and never sat them. And I think that's part of the fun of having red polls, is they do stuff like that. So I decided that this nest site's clearly not working. I think she's going to need some more privacy, so I've got an external nest. I've hung it on the inside with loads of cover around it. You can't even see the hen, but she's actually in there on, I believe, possibly 3 or 4 eggs. She's rebuilt the nest, she's tucked to it well, and she's keeping those eggs nice and tight and warm. So hopefully they will be full, and we'll get, the Isabel cock will have filled those eggs. Come down here, we've got the normal pastel cock to the cobalt hen. She just began sitting today. She's got 4 or 5 eggs under her now, which is great. And hopefully they are full. I've seen him thread her, so that's a good sign. Fingers crossed that they are full. And then actually we do have some new arrivals in the red poll sector. We've got 2 new hens, so I'm going to bring you down to this one first. We've got a normal split agate, split cinnamon, and also split pastel, I think, and yeah, it makes it split Isabel as well, that cockbird there. So he's split for pretty much every sex-linked mutation plus pastel. And we've got this, which is I believe it's definitely an agate hen, probably an agate pastel. I was lucky enough to get contacted. I actually saw Stephen Baker had got a few hens spare, and I thought, well, we'll drop him a line. So I've got 2 hens on loan from Stephen. So we've got this. This is a 3-year-old agate red poll hen. So that's good. She's a lovely looking bird as well. Good colour on her. And put the nest site in last night. I only paired them up last night, but we've already got a little bit of nest building action there. So that's a good sign from this pair. And then we'll just go and have a look at the other pair as well. And then we have this pair. Now you're going to recognise this as where the siskins were, and we're going to talk about those guys a little later. We've got a hen in here. As you can see, she's actually had a little bit of a bath, which is why part of her face is a bit wet, but nothing to worry about. Well, she was bred from a brown pastel, and obviously has produced this lovely cinnamon, we believe it's a cinnamon pastel or something similar, hen, we believe, as well. And we've got that with a cobalt cock, who was supposed to be a hen and turned out to be a cock. So we've got those 2 together. As you can see, her wings are a bit drooped. She has literally just had a bath. But we'll see how those guys get on. And fingers crossed we might get some little brown cobalts and, well, whatever else comes out, I guess. So now we've got some very exciting news with a pair of, native/northern birds that we've got finished up this week. So as we saw last week, the Siberian bullfinches began building their nest in a wooden chapel. Well, this week we've already got some eggs, and the hens began sitting. So I've just actually checked earlier. I knew she laid the first egg on Monday, I think. Well, she laid one. She laid one on Monday. I believe she laid one on Tuesday. She's missed a day somewhere in between, and then I definitely know that there was a third one today. But either way, we've got 3 eggs from them. I'm expecting. Last year she laid 8 in one of her clutches. So if she's laid 8, if she's going to lay 8, then that's, yeah, brilliant. I hope she does, actually. That would be great if we get 8 little bullfinches. But we've got her on 3 eggs at the moment. I can't see a reason why there's not going to be at least 5, but if she just throws 8 out, not throw 8 out, let's hope she doesn't throw 8 out, lays 8, then that'll be great. So we'll have a quick look at those guys. But more really on that in next week's video, because we can candle the eggs and let's hope they're full. Now, you've got to remember with these guys, not only are the Siberian bullfinches in that flight breeding, and we've got the Siberian bullfinch cock in there who is split for pastel, we also have the trio of Siberian goldfinches. Now, the hen who laid those 2 eggs for us, which we're going to look at next, which are in there, she has begun rebuilding a nest. The other hen, not yet, but we'll have to see how she gets on there. But what's more exciting, I think, a little bit more exciting, is that we've got the goldfinch cock in there as well, the Siberian goldfinch cock. Well, he's in there with the bullfinch hen, isn't he? So could we get some northern hybrids out? Well, we're going to have to see, and only time will tell. Fingers crossed we do. He's in top condition. He's singing. He's doing the tail wagging thing that goldfinches do. And, well, we'll have to see if we get some northern Goldie bullies out, and let's hope we do. Hopefully, obviously, I'd like some bullfinches out anyway, but if we can get maybe 1 or 2 hybrids in there, that'd make it even more exciting. So, fingers crossed for that. Now, we're going to look at the eggs on the yellow dimorphic hen. Obviously, she's got 3 of her own eggs, which would be nice to get a few more dimorphics out. And she also has 2 Siberian goldfinches under her. Now, we moved those from under the Fife, who has the Greenfinch. And the reason being is because they aren't going to hatch until next week, and we don't want them being discarded if they are full, which fingers crossed they are anyway. And I just thought they're going to be better under her because they are set around the same time. So we're going to candle all 5 of her eggs now, and let's hope they're full. So we're going to do it at 3 eggs first. So that is a full canary egg, so that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And now onto the goldfinches. Okay, that's a goldfinch egg full. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm excited, as you can probably tell. And that's the second one full. Okay, so we're going to nest of 5 full eggs. We've got 3 yellow dimorphics, and we've got 2 Siberian goldfinches. Now, it's just worth mentioning with these goldfinch eggs, obviously they are Siberians. We've got the hen, who's the mother. She's an agate, so whatever these youngsters are, well, hopefully they're cocks. Or well, to be fair, I don't mind cocks or hens, but obviously cocks can be used for muling as well, and hybridisation a little bit easier. The cocks, whatever they turn out to be, colour mutation wise, will be split for agate. The hens will probably, well, actually, that's a good point on that. Actually, the hens will be either normals, or we believe the cockbird may be split for UMO or something else. But yeah, we believe the cockbird is split for something. What that is, I don't know. So if the cock is split for a mutation, we're going to get mutation hens out of this pairing as well as normal hens. And any cocks that we get will be split for agate. So it's going to be nice having some young goldfinches, hopefully for the first time. So you may recall that last week we actually did a bit of a move about. We moved the crossbill flights around a bit. Well, it comes to a week on now, and when I actually moved the birds, it was about 10 days since I actually did the move about and stuff. And the crossbills were still, there weren't even any signs. You know, they weren't even sitting next to each other, the pairs. As you can see, we've got all of them in here now. So I've moved both cocks and both hens in together. How ideal is that? It's all right. It's not going to be too detrimental. I mean, the cockbirds aren't squabbling, which is what I expected. The hens are getting on fine. I've put two nest sites in there anyway, but I think really we're just going to have to leave them to it now. I've put them all in the same one. The reason being as well is because they weren't actually doing anything. I just felt that it'd be better to try and see if we can get something else working. So we've got all the crossbills in there. I am thinking for the male up in the corner, he is only last year's bird. He's never bred before, so maybe a little later on in the season. We have got a greenfinch hen on eggs in the other bird room with a Norwich cock. Well, if they're clear, it might be worth trying to crossbill greenfinch, because obviously we were supposed to do greenfinch crossbill this year until a hawk managed to get our crossbill hen. So we might try it the other way around, see if that works. But anyway, so obviously we've moved these guys all together. That's left us a flight free. Well, on that change, we've now got a pair of siskins in here. So you will recall that the siskins, they just weren't breeding, weren't really happy in those triple breeding cages, which is fair enough. You know, if they're not happy with it, then they don't have to breed. Well, I thought, I'm not going to waste a flight, and I really don't want to be wasting the pairs of siskins. They're not hard birds to breed compared to maybe crossbills, so we'll give it a go. So what I did is cleaned out the flight, cleaned out the nest sites. I've put another nest site up and left the other crossbill one up, and just thought we'll leave them to it, see how they get on. So we've got a pair in here. We've got two 2019 birds in here. I bred both of these, well, bred from these guys last year, some lovely youngsters. So I'm hoping with the change in the weather, as you can see, it is sunny. I mean, however, you know, is it going to stay sunny? Probably not. You know, welcome to the UK, and at least welcome to the UK in May. You know, the weather's been terrible over the past few weeks, and that's why I think we've had so many catastrophes with some of the birds. And I'm just hoping that with the change in the weather slightly at the moment, then it might just get these guys to click. So that's one of the pairs of siskins in here. I'm going to show you the other pair of siskins now. So we're at the other bird room. We've got the bird room here. We've actually got the extended area on the side, which I can enter obviously through this bird room. Well, I've decided that this was originally going to be for some of the youngsters, but we have got a project going on, which I'm not going to well, I'm looking at it now. I'm not going to give you any spoilers on. I mean, think what, you know, leave in the comments what you think it might be. A few people know who have helped me get stuff for it and do stuff, but I don't want to give you any spoilers because I really am looking forward to doing a bit of an unveiling of what I've got as a project right now. But as it goes for these guys, we've got them in here. The youngsters have got elsewhere to go, don't worry. So, well, I've set this up for these siskins, obviously moving them from a triple breeder in here, well, a 3-foot breeder, double breeder, to in here. So we'll have a look at them now, and we'll have a look at the nest sites that I've put up for these guys. So obviously I've put a perch up at the front. We've got the double mesh here. We've got a finer mesh and the wider sort of steel. I've put some just pine up now just for these guys to play with. I've also put a load in for the crossbills. As you can see, possibly in that back corner, if we can get it focused, we've got one nest site up there, like a bit of a siskin one, a smaller one, designed similar to the Greenfinches. And up in this top corner, not a great shot, we have actually got an external nest pan. So just as you can see through there, we've got an external wire nest pan. We've put some conifer around it, and we've got a Cecil liner in there. And I do believe the pair are actually building. So this is a 2018 siskin cock with a 2020 siskin hen who I bred last year. So we'll see how these guys get on. Fingers crossed, we might get some eggs from these guys in the next few weeks. As you can see now, this is the pair. They just come down to feed. I've just put a load of their own little seed on there. So obviously you've got the hen and the cock just playing about on the floor. I think, to be honest, I think they've just had a bath, or just going to have a bath as well, which may be why they're down here. So the last birds we have to look at today are the mule and hybrid pairs. I must say that this week it's really been an interesting week with these guys. We've got really good signs from all of them. So to bring us to a start, we have the Greenfinch with a Norwich cock. She is on 5 eggs, not candled them yet. She's only been sat about 3 days, so it's not really worth candling. you know, it's a little bit early, so it's I just don't want to disturb those eggs as much as possible anyway. So hopefully they are full. If they are, fantastic. We should have some greenfinch meals. If not, we'll remove the eggs, maybe give the cockbird another try. Hopefully he'll thread the hen, and if not, we've got a crossbill cock outside who I'm pretty sure will do the job, hopefully, and that would be nice. Some little crossbill greenfinches to, you know, replace what could have, you know, we could have had some other of those types of hybrids, but we did lose that hen, as I mentioned earlier. So they're on 5, that's really good. We come down to the redpoll siskin pair. Now, we've got the siskin cock in with a redpoll hen. You'll remember last week we removed the siskin cock and actually had him in the flight where the pair of siskins are now. And we had him in there, just thought I'd get him fit and give the hen a break. She's built up. Anyway, this week we've been lucky enough to welcome 3 eggs. So we had the 3rd egg laid this morning. Lovely little nest the redpoll hen's built. She's actually built in both nest sites, and she's decided to lay her eggs in the actual cocoa fibre nest pan. We've obviously got that in a wire holder as well, just for security. She's got a lovely little nest in there. We've got 3 eggs. Now, it's important to mention, and something to remember, is when you're trying to breed siskins or anything with a siskin, and it's mainly the siskin cock that's the issue. Siskin cocks are notoriously not great when it comes to either 1, being a father, or 2, even looking after the eggs. So when we had the first egg laid, I came in to find the egg in the nest, really pleased, but the egg had a hole in it, and the siskin cock had obviously just bit the egg and tried to throw it out. Obviously hadn't, but it had damaged the egg to the point where it's not going to be viable. Anyway, so that brings us to the next day and the following day. So it was important that, obviously, they are a hybrid pair. We don't want to be losing eggs from these guys, and fingers crossed that they are full. So what I've been doing is I actually made myself a little wire divider out of some spare mesh. And that just fits nicely in this cage. Obviously I do have wooden dividers, but they can't see each other through them. So now what I do every evening, as it's going dark, the hen's on the nest and the cockbird is roosting actually on the other side of the cage. For whatever reason, the hen will sleep on the nest, the cockbird sleeps at the opposite side of the cage. That's just some pairs, and I've been putting the wire divider in, so what I can do is come into the shed in the morning. The cockbird is separate from the eggs, so he will have, if they are going to be full, he'll have filled them earlier that day, and then he can't get to those eggs. So what I can do is take out the eggs, and I've actually got them down here, and replace them with pot eggs. And then what that means is I can remove this divider, let him back in with the hen. He can play about with the pot eggs all he wants, because he's not going to manage to break them. And then as soon as we come to getting a full clutch, I'm thinking we've got the 3rd egg today, obviously 1 egg being viable, so we're not being viable, so we've got 2 that could be fertile. It's day 3. I'm probably going to let the hen lay the full clutch. It's probably going to be about 5 eggs. That's what I found anyway. I did breed off the redpoll hen anyway last year, and she did lay 5 every single clutch. So I'm going to let her lay all 5, and then we'll remove the siskin cock. He can go in another cage or a flight, and we'll leave the redpoll hen to it, just so we don't want to really be losing those eggs. Obviously siskin cocks are hard work, and they are known for destroying nests. So that's the idea with those guys. Well, we'll handle them next week, and let's just hope we might have some hybrids on the way. That would be a really nice real start to the breeding season with these guys. So from there, that's our our larger hybrid, our large mule pair, and our miniature hybrid pair. We've then got the 2 pairs of goldfinch mules. So we'll go and look at those now. So we're going to begin with the yellow Norwich hen to the goldfinch cock. Well, we've had a really good week with these guys. I've actually seen them feeding each other, and I've not seen the cock threading yet, but what I have seen is we have 3 eggs. So that's been 1 egg per day. Now I haven't touched them. I had considered removing the eggs because I've heard that goldfinch cocks can sometimes smash them, but the the Norwich hen has been doing an absolutely fabulous job of keeping those eggs well protected, and it just seems that the goldfinch cock hasn't even been bothered that the eggs were there. So let's hope we might get some lovely goldfinch mules from that pair. Obviously a really good, nice yellow Norwich hen to the goldfinch cock, so fingers crossed with those guys. And then we have the goldfinch cock with the new colour cross hen. Well, it's been a bit of a rough week with these guys, sadly. The goldfinch cock I removed just to give the hen a bit of a break, because I noticed that she wasn't building the nest anymore, wasn't even bothered about laying. And after, about 5 days, she ragged the nest and just wasn't even interested anymore. And I'm not 100% sure why. The best thing I could probably do was I removed what was left of the material, and I actually cleaned out the nest pan. She clearly hasn't started building yet, but I'm hoping that she might start rebuilding soon. As you can see, they've made a bit of a mess of their cage, so that's going to need a clean out. But I'm hoping we might be able to get some goldfinch mules from these guys. And yeah, the hen's been interested. I think she's just taking a little bit of time now just to get started. So we'll see how these guys get on, and hopefully some more positive news with these guys next week. Now that does bring us to the end of this week's video, so I hope you've enjoyed it and maybe picked up some useful tips, and you've enjoyed seeing all of the birds and seeing how they're developing so far. I've just got 2 quick things to mention. So first, I'd like to congratulate Matt Eld of the Canary Room. Well done, Matt. You've got 10,000 subscribers now. So obviously a little bit late. It was just late last week, but by the time I come to actually he reached 10,000, I'd already got the video uploaded. So well done, Matt. Massive well done. If you haven't already subscribed to the Canary Room, the link will be in the description. And then also I'd like to say a well done and to Shane of the Bird Room of Direct Bird Products. Obviously he's done really well, and he's now got 1,000 subscribers, so well done, Shane. And obviously I appreciate you both for thanking me as well for just helping you get that push forward with some subscribers who might be subscribed to me and not to those guys. So anyway, the links will be in the description for those guys' channels. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, please leave us a like, hit the subscribe down below, get the notification bell on, and share the video with someone who you think would enjoy these videos. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.